So I'm going to talk about the Asians in the white population. So basically, I'm not talking about Southeast Asians. I'm talking about Eurasians, European Asians, or whatever the hell. Eurasians. Look up the word if you want to, but basically, I'm referring to people that look like me. And that not everybody looks like me. Some people have smaller noses, and they look like conventionally like more European, but they're not, and neither am I. uh, I'm mostly Eurasian. Like I do have some European genetics, but like I'm mostly Eurasian. And here's the thing: it's hard to tell. Like it can be hard to tell apart a Eurasian from a European. But basically, Europeans are uglier. That's kind of mean. Europeans usually are uglier, but they're nice to me usually. Anyway. So Eurasians are like kind of embedded in the European population, and everybody's considered either white or Caucasian, uh, in the United States or whatever. Uh, but yeah, the word is Eurasian, and we use that word because we like to make fun of people for being Asian, but not really, because we're kind of Asian too. And I'm speaking like there's like a separate community for Eurasians, but there really isn't. Or if there is, I'm not really in it or whatever. At least, yeah. There's not really like a distinction between like Eurasians and Europeans usually, but there's a difference. Like if you look at me, like I look like my eyes like are like a little bit different than a Europeans. Even my hair is a little bit like thicker than Europeans. Like Europeans have thinner hair. I don't just mean like balding, like bald, like bald. They just usually have thinner hair. But yeah, if you find that interesting at all, you can research it. Even the Vikings had I think they call them Western Asian genetics in the Viking population. They were just Eurasians, they're from Oceania or whatever. Oceania is just that strip of land between Europe and Asia. Anyway, yeah, one thing I can say about like being a Eurasian male. And I'm not talking, like I said, sometimes people use Eurasian as Eastern European people, like as like a mixed race with white people, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like people from like Oceania, basically. Uh, they're Eurasians, and the other people are mixed. Like the people who are uh, uh, Eastern Eastern Asian mixed with European or Eurasian, like they're mixed. And they're not just Eurasian. I'm just mainly Eurasian. One thing I can say about males that are Eurasian is that we're fairly like, I don't want to say clueless. Like we're sort of like innocent when we're younger. Like something I noticed about myself when I was in my 20s is that it was a very difficult time for me. Just being Eurasian, because I always want like good things to happen, and like Europeans, they pretty much, I won't say that they expect, or I won't say that they no bad things will happen, but they expect that bad things will happen in the world or whatever. And they're sort of like they like to remind you all the fucking time, which I can't really hate them because they basically take care of me, you know. But like, uh, like I'm a Catholic, and a lot of them are Catholics. Uh, but they basically expect like bad things to happen, so they're always prepared for it. But that's the thing; they're not always like exactly prepared for it. Like one thing that Eurasians really value, like just like other Asian people, is civilization and working together. Another thing that they have that like a propensity towards is suicide and self harm. I've actually cut my neck before uh, in a suicide attempt. Anyway, and I have thoughts of self harm like all the time. Or I used to, and like sometimes, like if you have a mental illness, is what they call it. Like, I don't know. If you're Asian, you're gonna have that propensity sometimes. Like you're gonna think about it. Probably if you're in a European world, you know, if you're in a white European world like we are, then you're gonna think about. And I'm technically like, I have white skin, but the Japanese technically have white skin too, and so do so do a lot of the Chinese. But they're not Eurasian. They're Eastern Asians. Well, the Chinese are Central Asians, but the Japanese are Eastern Asians, and the rest of the or not the rest of the Asians, but like they're Asian and we're Eurasian, and so we don't even really get our own word because they just say we're combined with Europeans, but we're actually like a different race. But like I said, it's so hard to tell the difference between a Eurasian and a European that we don't really get our own race, I guess. So yeah, and we're in the same like communities and cultures. And some of us are mixed a little bit, like I have blue eyes, and I'm pretty sure that's just a European trait. But and I actually do have blonde hair too. But that's the thing when you're Asian, like some Eurasians have like lighter hair and blue eyes. Yeah. Anyway. So anyways, growing up Eurasian or whatever, like I was always treated like an Asian. That sounds terrible. I sound racist when I'm saying that, but what I mean by that is that people viewed me as like weaker, and I'm actually pretty fast. Maybe I can show you. Hold on. I can't really go fast right now, but I'm pretty fast. I don't think I'm faster than like a Japanese guy. Maybe your average Japanese guy, but like a samurai, like I don't know if I'm faster than a samurai, but anyway, uh growing up I basically got made fun of for being like Asian, even though I was and for looking like a girl, which is another like trait that Eurasians have that is similar to Asians. Like we're sort of androgynous. Like I'll just show you my face. Like my body's not really androgynous, but I look like a boy, but or I look like a man. But if I shaved and if I shaved and like washed my hair, you might think I look like a girl. Anyway, another trait that's similar to Southeast Asians that Eurasians have is that we're shorter. Like I'm 5'7", but like on average we're probably shorter than the Asians are, to be honest with you. Um, it's probably like 5'6". Yeah, that's probably the average height for a Eurasian. I'm probably a little bit taller than average, but yeah, I'm glad I'm 5'7" because in a European like a European culture, I'm not talking about Europeans necessarily from Europe, but genetically from Europe, you know. In that culture, if you're not tall, then people just think you're really weak. Sometimes, if they're not religious, even if they're religious, they kind of doubt that you can really like have much of an impact on the world. I guess like, just because it's just how it is. You're short, but yeah. But at 5'7", I'm like almost good enough to a European, so it's like all right. I don't know. I'm pretty tough. That's another thing. We're not exactly like I don't know. It takes like a lot. Takes like a long time to like toughen up as a Eurasian. Like it took me like all my 20s to really talk to women again because I was so hurt by like one woman. Uh, but not just that. And that might just be me, but it's not really just me though. Like I used to date a Eurasian woman, and I'm a Eurasian man, and then she left me for a European woman. I mean man. Sorry, I called him a woman. He's a real ugly guy, but he's taller than me, and anyway, he's European. I'm Eurasian. She's Eurasian, and she shouldn't be with him. But I still love her. But I don't expect I'll ever be with her again. Anyway, if you're a Eurasian man, a lot of the same problems that Asians, like Japanese and Chinese, face is like one of the main issues that they face is dating. Like we're not that attractive to women, so even if I were like 6'2" and I looked like really attractive, I wouldn't be that attractive. Like even if I was 6'6", somehow. That's the thing. I wouldn't be 6'6" probably, but even if I was like 6.5 feet tall, uh, I still would only get like some like the women I would get really wouldn't be that. It would be more. It's more difficult. The thing that makes us attractive to women, the main things that make us attractive is yes our bodies, because some people say endomorphic or whatever. Like yes I'm fat right now, but if I weren't fat I would look like somebody might say I'm endomorphic or whatever. Like I'm like fat and muscular. But like basically that's kind of it's not bullshit, but like yeah, basically like we're like more fatty. Like you see my muscle here, like it looks like this instead of like really ripped or whatever. Like a Europeans like almost like skeleton bone muscle or something. Like Europeans are like really ripped. Uh, but I'm still like really strong. So I don't know, but I'm not that strong to be honest compared to a European because they have like certain like, but I still kind of have that like build because I'm Eurasian. It's like kind of a mix for me. Anyway, so I'm faster than a European, but But I'm not like I'm not as powerful. I'm not as strong. So, but I am pretty strong still. So yeah. But anyway, one of the problems that we face is that we just don't like date very well, or women think we have small cocks because we're short, and we're just. I want to say that I don't have a small cock or whatever. And I think the word cock kind of weird, dick or whatever. I don't have a small dick. But even if I did, it's not the most important thing. But yeah. But even if I were like 6'3" or whatever the height is, it would still be more difficult for me than my European counterparts. It might be easier for me than um, I don't know. I've noticed that I don't know. Anyway, so my point is that there's basically like a Eurasian population embedded in the European population. I'm Eurasian. It sounds funny, right? I'm Eurasian, like I'm your Asian, but no, I'm Eurasian, like European Asian, and by that I don't mean mixed race. Maybe mixed a little bit with Europeans, and it's hard to tell the difference between us and them. But yeah, but yeah, it's really hard to like. That's one. That's like another thing that Eurasian males face is, and that's whether or not you have like a gorilla or a chimp face. It doesn't matter. Like you face this, like you're constantly called like a fairy or like a pussy or you're just constantly questioned. Your manhood's constantly questioned. And it's like on hyperdrive. Like at least if you're Japanese, you have this whole culture of people who at least want you to be a man. But like in like your European culture, it's like fucking figure it out, be a man. And it's like, okay, I will. And you just have to like guess and like just figure it out. Even if you grow up with a father, if he's Eurasian too, then, or if he's European, which is worse, then, I mean, not necessarily worse, but still, it's really difficult. But anyway, and my dad was Native American. Or he was like 25% Native American, but I actually didn't get any Native American genetics. And I'm mostly just I'm Eurasian and a little bit of European. Eurasian on my mom's side. Uh, anyway, yeah. But anyway, we're a little bit like if you look at my eyes, like it's like almost like almond shaped, like this. It's like kind of like Asian, but Europeans, it's like more like circular. Like they will open up a little bit more. They probably see better than I do. I don't know. I'm not one of them, but I sort of am, so I kind of get it, but I don't know. Anyway, I just want to explain that. See ya.